What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Tom here with Tom Ria Sports, and we're back with our weekly NFL spread picks. Week 7 kicked off last night with the Giants heading to Philly to take on the Eagles. Eagles were 4.5-point favorites at home. We picked the Giants to cover. They did in a tough 1-point loss. So we're on to Sunday. For the first game of Sunday, Lions-Falcons. Falcons are 2.5-point favorites at home. Had a big win on the road in Minnesota last week after firing Dan Quinn. I'm going to take the Falcons to cover here. I think they keep the hot offense rolling, and they do just enough to win by 3 or more. Browns-Bengals. Joe Mixon's out. Browns are 3-point favorites on the road. Kind of a tough game to call because you're not sure which Browns team is going to show up, but I think Browns do enough to win and cover the 3-point spread. Steelers-Titans, perhaps the game of the week, maybe one of the best games of the season so far. 2 5-0 teams. This game that was supposed to happen a couple weeks ago, but COVID delayed it. Now it's on. Titans are 1-point favorites, so basically a pick 'em in Tennessee. I'm going to go ahead and take the Steelers. I think they're a better all-around team. Their defense is maybe the best in football, and I think the offense does just enough to win. Panthers-Saints. Saints are 7-point favorites at home. Another kind of high spread if you ask me, but Saints coming off a bye. I think that favors them. I'm going to pick them to go ahead and win against their former backup quarterback Teddy Bridgewater and the Panthers and cover the 7-point difference. With or without Michael Thomas, I think the Saints still win that game pretty handily. I think their defense has probably their best performance of the season, and they get the W. Bills-Jets. Jets are the worst team in football. Even if Darnold plays, can't see them making this too close. Bills 11.5-point favorites on the road. Little steep, but I think they just cover, win the game by around 13-14. Go ahead and pick the Bills there. Cowboys against the Washington football team. Cowboys are a 1-point favorite, so I'll pick them on the road in Washington. They've been favored quite a lot for a team that's really not good at all, probably the worst defense in football. I'm actually going to take the upset and pick Washington to win at home and improve to 2-5. Packers-Texans. Packers coming off a brutal loss in Tampa where they were thoroughly dominated. Going into Houston, 3.5-point favorites on the road. A little reluctant here, but I'm going to go ahead and pick the Packers to cover this. I think they win the game, win by around a score of a touchdown. Go ahead and take the Packers. Buccaneers-Raiders. There wasn't a line on ESPN for this, but the last I saw, Buccaneers were 2.5-point favorites on the road. Hopefully this game still happens. There were some COVID issues, but I think the Buccaneers win and cover. I know Raiders coming off a bye, which definitely helps them, but Buccaneers are hot. Their defense is one of the best in football. I think they do enough to stifle Derek Carr in that offense, and they win the game by more than 3. Chiefs-Broncos. This is going to be a cold, wet, possibly snowy game. Chiefs are 9.5-point favorites on the road. Divisional matchup always worry me. I'm taking Denver here, not to win the game, but to cover that 9.5-point difference. I think the Chiefs win, but it'll be a closer game than most people expect. So I'm taking the Broncos. Niners-Patriots in Foxborough. This one I had a pretty tough time picking as well. Patriots 2-point favorites at home. Niners looked really good last season, maybe their best game of the year. Mostert's out, though, which is definitely a tough blow. But I'm going to go ahead and choose the Niners. I think they do just enough to win and cover the 2-point difference. Jaguars-Chargers. Chargers 7.5-point favorites. Jaguars are definitely in the bottom tier of worst teams in the league. Their defense is as bad as it gets. Chargers coming off a bye. I think they win and cover the 7.5-point spread. And then the Sunday night game, Seahawks-Cardinals. Seahawks 3.5-point favorites on the road. Another team coming off a bye. This is a tough one to call because the Seahawks defense is very bad. I think they are getting Jamal Adams back, but that defense, again, I mean, coming off a bye, maybe they made some adjustments. We'll see. But I'm going to pick the Cardinals to cover, basically meaning they just got to lose by 3 or less or win the game. I'm not necessarily sure if Cardinals will win, but I do think they'll cover the 3.5-point difference at home versus Seattle. And the Monday night game is Bears-Rams. Rams 6-point favorites at home. They didn't look too good last week. They've been kind of an up and down team, still 4-2. Bears 5-1. This is tough, man. That Bears defense looked really good last week. I'm going to pick them to cover. Again, I think Rams probably win by like 3, maybe 4, something around there. Weird scoring game, but I think the Bears defense plays well. I think they cover the 6-point difference, and not sure who's going to win that one, but I'm definitely going to take the Bears against the spread. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Have a good week.